it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my October TBR. So this is easily the most ambitious TBR pile I have ever had. As you guys know, if you have been watching my reading vlogs, I have been buying a lot of books lately and I've been receiving a lot of books lately, so my TBR has gotten out of control. So I have 17 books on my TBR that I physically have, but there are also some releases that are coming out in October that I want to read. So like, none of this is actually gonna happen, but I'm just being really ambitious and hoping for the best. Also, I'm sorry my bookshelves keep on changing behind me. I'm going through like a bit of a bookshelf midlife crisis and I don't know what to do with my bookshelves, so it is a struggle. Anyways, I have a ton of books to talk about today. I've kind of sorted them out for you guys. I'm not going to be able to talk too much about them since there's so many, so let's just dive in. So first of all, the classic that I'm hoping to read this month is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I feel like this is perfect for October because it's Halloween and Frankenstein's monster is one of the most iconic monsters in history and literature specifically, but I feel like everyone knows who Frankenstein is, so I feel like it would be perfect to read at Halloween because I've never read it before, but I'm very intrigued by it. Next, I have a couple of recent releases in the fantasy genre, which honestly I'm probably not gonna have enough time to read, but I'm really hoping I will. So first is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. I honestly bought this book for the cover. I don't know a lot about it. I know that it's been compared to ACOTAR, so that sounds really amazing, and I want to see what this book is all about. It's been getting some really great reviews, and I feel like the inside might be as beautiful as the cover, though that is really, really difficult because this cover is gorgeous. So I'm pretty sure this deals with fairies and stuff, which is where the comparisons to ACOTAR come in, but oh no, we shall see. Next is Before She Ignites by Jodi Meadows. This book is all about dragons, which I am so down for. Like, I love dragons so much. I love any mythical creatures, any real life creatures. I just love animals, so when there's mythical ones and a fantasy is surrounding them, I am like, yes, I want to read this. So this deals with dragons, and the main character of this is a huge advocate for dragons because they're not treated the best in the world that she's living in, and I just am all about that animal activism and I really want to read this. I've also read some of Jodi Meadows' other works and I really enjoyed them, so I think this has the potential to be awesome. Next, I have a couple of recent releases in the way of sequels that I want to read. One of them I don't even think is out yet, but it's coming out very soon. But the first one is One Dark Throne by Kendara Blake. This is the second book in the Three Dark Crowns series, and I really enjoyed Three Dark Crowns, but it definitely was more so setting up for a sequel, so I'm hoping that this one will be able to hold its own a little bit more, and the cover is gorgeous. I've heard some really great reviews for it so far, and I can't wait to get to it because it's such a brutal and really just unique fantasy series that I am all about, so I can't wait to finally read this. Next is Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray. This is the third book in the Diviner series, and it is perfect that this is coming out in October or around October because it's a very scary series. It's dealing with paranormal things, ghosts, different murders, like creepy stuff like that, and it's all set in 1920s New York. It is amazing, and I liked the second book. I didn't like it quite as much as the first one, so I'm hoping that I will really like this one. I definitely won't be able to read it before bed though because it is not a before bed book, that's for sure. I might wait to listen to this on audiobook because I listened to the second one on audiobook, but we shall see. Next, I have a few arcs that I really need to get to because they're either coming out very soon or they have already come out and I just got the arc like right before it came out, so I didn't have time to read it. And the one that I'm referring to with that is Jane Unlimited by Kristen Kishore. Look at this cover. Like, what on earth is that nonsense? It's so shiny. But anyways, I honestly don't really know what this is about. I've heard amazing things about Kristen Kishore. She is the author of Graceling, which I've never read, but I did finally purchase it, so it is on my TBR pile and I will hopefully be getting to it soon. But this sounds very weird, quite quirky, and I'm not even quite sure which genre it falls into, but I'm just gonna go into it and see what happens. Next is The Midnight Dance by Nikki Katz. This I have had the arc for such a long time, like since January or something like that, and I was like, it's coming out in October, I have plenty of time to read it, but now look where we are. Classic Hailey. But I actually just saw on HarperCollins Twitter the final version of this book, the hardcover, and it is so gorgeous. Like, it is beautiful. It is even prettier than this. The gold like sticks out. It is so amazing. And I've heard that this book is really great. It's a contemporary, I believe, but kind of a mystery that's set in Italy in a ballet school, and I'm so down for that. It sounds like it's kind of going to be like a Black Swan sort of thing. I've never seen Black Swan, but like I know the idea of it. So from what I've heard, I feel like it's going to have those vibes of like creepy ballet school and all that jazz. So we'll see how that goes. That was funny, all that jazz, because jazz is a kind of dance. Oh, I cracked myself out. Next is That Inevitable Victorian Thing by E.K. Johnston. This is a book that I was super excited about, and then I kind of delved more into the synopsis and I was like, this is not what I was expecting. I thought it was just going to be a Victorian historical fiction, but it has a little bit of a sci-fi spin on it, but it still does deal directly with like Queen Victoria and stuff and one of her descendants. So I feel like I could like this. It's one that's going to go either way. I'm either going to love it or hate it, so I want to read it and see how it goes. And the final arc on this list is Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. This is an East Asian reimagining of the evil queen myth, which just sounds so great, right up my alley. I am so pumped for this, and I want to read it now, but I want to read all the books now. Like, I'm in one of those moods where I can't really decide what to read because I'm like, I want to read all of you. What a struggle. It seriously is the biggest struggle because I'll finish a book and then I'm like, okay, what am I gonna read next? All of you. I just want to read all of you, but I can't do that. But now the final pile here, and the biggest pile, is mysteries and Halloween-y themed reads. So first of all is A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluess. I've had this book for way too long now and I've heard some really great things about it, so I finally want to pick it up. I'm currently reading Language of Thorns and I think this is going to be the one that I pick up next because I had started it. I was on page 26, but then Language of Thorns came out and I was like, stop everything, I need to read that now. But from what I read so far, I was getting some like Jane Eyre kind of Infernal Devices vibes, which was amazing. I was totally down for it and I can't wait to get more into it. It's about like sorcery and witchcraft in Victorian era and it's kind of critiquing Victorian society and its treatment of women. It just sounds so great, like right up my alley. So I can't wait to delve more in, especially because the sequel just came out, but I've had this for so long, need to read it. Next up is A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. This is a retelling of Sherlock Holmes, so I am so down for that, especially in fall and around Halloween. I feel like mysteries like that and a Sherlock Holmes, like a Sherlock and Watson sort of thing, is perfect. Also in this one, the Sherlock character is a female and I believe the Watson character is a male, which just sounds really cool. I feel like this could be great and I've heard some good things, so I have high hopes. Next up is Spellbook for the Lost and Found by Moira Fowley Doyle. This is a magical realism that is set in a small Irish town where these strange things start happening and they don't know what's happening, so they're trying to figure it out, and I want to try and figure it out as well. It sounds witchy and just perfect for Halloween. Next up is Dreamland Burning by Jennifer Latham, or Latham, I don't really know how to say that, but this is partially set in present day and partially 100 years in the past, because in present day the girl finds a skeleton on her property and then we go into the past and it is about that like murder and how that skeleton came to be there. So I think this deals with some important issues as well and is kind of examining history and racism in history specifically, so I'm pumped for this. Next up is The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken. This I will probably be reading on Halloween day. Like this and Frankenstein I think I'm going to save for around Halloween because I don't love Halloween, but I like kind of like getting into the spirit of Halloween, if you will. Not the scary stuff because I'm an absolute chicken, but kind of just that like Halloween spirit, those vibes. I like reading things when it makes sense to, and this totally gives me Halloween vibes just from the cover and the back of it with the little cat bat and all that stuff. It just seems like it'll be perfect for Halloween and I've heard amazing things about it, so we shall see. Next is The Walled City by Ryan Groden. I have the audiobook for this one from the library, so I will be listening to this one very soon. It is honestly at the very top of my TBR because I have had this book for the longest. This is the book that has been on my TBR pile for the longest. It's been on there for like 3 years or something ridiculous like that, and I wasn't going to buy any more of Ryan Groden's books until I read this book, but I bought Wolf by Wolf recently, so I really need to read this so that I don't just have a pile of her books on my TBR because her books sound amazing, but I haven't read them yet. And this seems to be kind of a thriller that's set in this walled city where a lot of crime and stuff like that is happening, so I think it'll be a very intense read. Next is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I believe that's how you say that. I was not really super intrigued by this book, but I have heard amazing things from multiple people about this whole series. The second book came out recently and a lot of people seem to be loving it. One of my best friends really loved this book, so I feel like I need to finally give it a chance, and I love the cover of it and I love the whole concept of it. I don't really remember the synopsis, but it obviously has something to do with Jack the Ripper, who was like a really terrifying and terrible serial killer, and I just feel like this is going to be so cool. So this one I feel like I will definitely be reading in October. And finally, for the books that I own, is Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody. I want to finish this book so badly because I had started listening to the audiobook and then opted to put it down in favor of actually reading it, and I want to do it because it's a murder mystery, so it's perfect for October, and it takes place in this circus and there's all these illusions. Like, it's crazy, imaginative, and super cool, so I can't wait to delve more into this world, and I want to read it and then take some notes so then I can do a bibliobabble for you guys. So the number one new release that is coming out in October that I will likely be reading like the second it comes out is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I pre-ordered it twice actually, because I pre-ordered a signed copy and an unsigned copy, or a probably signed copy and a definitely not signed copy. This is John Green's first book since The Fault in Our Stars and I'm super excited for it, also super nervous, so I will likely be reading it the second I have it in my hands. So those are all the books on my October TBR. I am so overambitious all the time. I'm very curious to see how many of these I'm actually going to read, because I did have an amazing reading month in September, but I don't believe I read 17 books or anywhere near there, and usually I never have two like amazing reading months in a row, so we'll see how this goes. But if you have read any of these books, please let me know your thoughts on them, and if there's any of them that you want me to do a bibliobabble for, then let me know that as well, so then I will make sure to take very diligent notes for them. Also, if there's any that you think I should really prioritize, please let me know, because like I said, this list is like crazy, so I need to kind of get my priorities in order. But if you guys wanted to make sure that you don't miss any of my videos, don't forget to subscribe, and you can also click the little bell thing so then you'll get notifications whenever I upload, which is quite frequently. I put out new videos every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and sometimes I will also put additional videos out on Wednesdays, more often than not lately. And you can also follow me on Twitter or Instagram to see when I upload. My Twitter handle is @HailesandBookland and my Instagram is @HaileyandBookland, and you will also get beautiful pictures of books on my Instagram, so it's a win-win for everyone. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!